to be here. I will start for the holidays. I did have a friend over and I made her Egyptian food.
Ooh.
And my friend is from China, so it was like very international. So that was great. I just keep forgetting to send her the recipe, so I need to do that. I just need to do that. Okay, so just kind of before I start, like I have a PowerPoint and I do have a few links, and like the sharing on Zoom is a bit complicated, so I'll just have to, stop the sharing, get out, then go to the links. But again, I have like everything planned. There are some of the content of my presentation and the links are in Arabic, but I will translate. I promise.
That's good.
I promise I won't leave you guys hanging. So.
I don't think we have any Arabic speakers on today. But just so you know, Dahlia, I am recording this. We do post it, and many people do log on later to watch it. So I'm assuming everyone else here is given permission at various points, but I'm hoping you do as well.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. No, that's perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. So I will start sharing my screen and just share computer sound as well. There we go. Okay. Everybody can see the PowerPoint? Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is just really the table of contents of my talk today. I just gonna kind of talk about the journey which really set me on my feminist activism and led me to my PhD work. I'm gonna discuss early years, my involvement with a feminist organization called Women in Memory Forum, and my academic work. So this is just kind of my academic history briefly. AAUW award grantee for this year. I PhD candidate in English at the University of Arizona. Hopefully I finish this year. Hopefully I do. I just stop procrastinating. I hope I do. I obtained my MA in English from Cairo University in Egypt in 2016. I had a Fulbright 2014 also at the University of Arizona. Bachelor of Arts from Cairo University, and the first ever scholarship I got was when I was an undergraduate in Buffalo, New York at a private Catholic college. So again, this is just kind of a brief academic history of me. And by the way, I know we have time for questions and answers, but please, like if anybody wants to talk and engage, I'm a teacher, so I like the engagement aspect, not just talking all the time. So please feel free. So, again, kind of the beginning of my journey really was enrolling at the English department at Cairo University. Like I was really fortunate to have mostly women professors and young girls as my colleagues. And this really was the beginning of my feminist engagement when I was an undergraduate. My professors, like they introduced us to women writers, feminist theory, criticism. They exposed us to so many feminist icons, like these women role models whom we kind of like aspire to and emulate. And they really showed us how, as educators, they can be so influential in creating a feminist consciousness and engagement in their female students. And another aspect that I was really eager to join was just this feeling that they were part of this collective feminist movement, that was just bigger than all of us. And how, I think, again, a really, really great contribution and influence that they had was how they emphasized representation and social justice, which I've always just tried to carry in my work as an activist academic. Okay, just want to show you a few department pictures. There's me there on the ground. You can see me. I'm squatting there. And again, as you can see, a lot of women. And this is me with a few of my students in 2016. And again, you can see like they're all girls. Just to kind of give you a snippet of some aspects of home. Another really important element, again, in kind of my feminist engagement and the cultural activism was the English department's Cultural Society. This is a student-led organization, and its mission is to spread cultural, literary, and feminist awareness and engagement for Cairo University students. So not just English department students, like we were just trying to reach like the broad swath of the university. it was a space for students to create and produce and engage with each other. And I started again as a student, and I also continued my engagement kind of on the other side of the aisle when I became a junior faculty member. So I kind of had both experiences, like as a student and kind of as a junior faculty member. We held a lot of activities, book clubs, seminars, plays, poetry recitals. And again, I'm just going to show a few pictures. See, this is one of our students reading from one of her poems. This is one of the plays we had. And again, I don't know if you can see, that's just kind of me here, like in the butterflies. Yeah, we were, this was just one of our plays. So again, this was just kind of the departmental work, which really led my, my work in the feminist organization. So before I start talking, I do want to share a video on the Women in Memory Forum. It is in Arabic, but there are subtitles. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play like 1 minute and 41 seconds of it. So it's not going to take too long. And again, I just have to stop the share and just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go.
بدأت الحكاية من 20 سنة لما اتجمعت مجموعة من الباحثات المهتمات بإعادة حكاية الستات في التاريخ.
بدايات المرأة والذاكرة كانت عبارة عن لقاء جمع مجموعة من الباحثات والناشطات النسويات تحديدا في سنة 95، واللي جمعنا كان شعور بأن في مشكلة بتواجهها النساء في المجتمع المصري والمجتمع العربي بشكل عام، وقرار مننا أننا نواجه هذه المشكلة بإعادة قراءة التاريخ الثقافي العربي من وجهة نظر المرأة.
عندنا مجموعة بحثية عايزين نعمل أبحاث، وأنا فاكرة طلعت أنا بدري من الاجتماع، وطلعت وقفلت الباب وأنا ماشية في الكوريدور ولقيت هدى بتجري ورايا وبتقول لي أمية عايزة أكلمك، عايزين نعمل مجموعة بحثية عن دراسة المرأة والتاريخ. قلت لها في ثانية أسرع بداية المشروع وأسرع موافقة مني يعني.
كان هدفنا إنتاج معرفة بديلة تكون داعمة لحركة حقوق النساء في مصر وفي العالم العربي، والهدف طبعا الأبعد والأسمى إننا يعني نصل لمجتمع فيه عدل ومساواة ونعيش كلنا من غير ما يكون في فئة حقوقها ضايعة.
Just gonna stop there. I'd like to show all of it, but it's over 10 minutes, so we don't have the time for that. Okay, so with the Women in Memory Forum, I was really lucky that several of my English department professors were both board and founding members. So that's kind of how I became involved. And Women in Memory Forum is one of the few feminist research organizations, not only across Egypt, but across kind of the Arab region. That was kind of the main niche that was there. And as you all saw in the video, like the head of Women in Memory Forum, one of my professors, all of them asked this question. One of the main driving questions behind the founding of it was, where were the women? Because, a lot in Egypt's both history and the present. So they made it their mission to uncover women who were instrumental in Egypt's history, whose narratives had become erased and suppressed in the mainstream kind of stories. And I will show a few examples of the women that we did a lot of research and knowledge production on. We mainly catered to students from Egypt, from across the Arab region and internationally. And I joined in 2011 for the Archive of Women's Voices, which again, I will talk about in detail. So again, just kind of from the PowerPoint, this is just some of the samples of the works that we did. We put out books, papers, we held conferences, we had seminars, again, just a lot of work on outreach and engagement. Sorry. again, books are in Arabic, as you all can see, just a few of them. So the reason again I wanted to kind of show you guys these Arabic texts was, you know, part of like a main part of our mission statement was disseminating this research and making it accessible to places like schools, universities, other feminist organizations, and human rights groups. My professors had noticed that there was a dearth of academic research in Arabic, and of course, particularly research on women, and this is very detrimental for students, for independent researchers, and for faculty in the region. Egypt, unfortunately, just tends to have very limited knowledge access, unfortunately. So, and we see knowledge and its access as a form of feminist empowerment. That was really, again, just part of the mission, this feminist empowerment. So we publish books in Arabic, as well as translated academic work from English into Arabic to kind of ensure it's spread to researchers. And the book here you see on the right, this is actually a book that we composed on the history of the Egyptian feminist movement. Again, just kind of an example of some of the work that we did. So then more books. This is my department, by the way, like we were selling some of the books. Okay, so again, another part kind of the work that we did as just again part of the research, the outreach, and just to make our research accessible for everybody was producing a lot of paraphernalia, posters, bookmarks, pins. These posters were on the Women Pioneers, which was part of the Oral History Project, and these were women who had broken barriers in a lot of different fields. You know, the first female archaeologist, the first female lawyer, the first female physician, obviously again within Egypt. This woman here on the left wearing the glasses, Maria Assad, who I was really like lucky to meet a few times. She was one of the first women in Egypt who worked on combating female genital mutilation, just kind of as an example. With Dmitry, the woman on the right, was an educator. She was a labor union leader, a communist who was arrested like several times, politically detained like several times in her work to ensure equal rights for both women and male teachers. So again, this is just kind of just a sample of the of some of the pioneers that we worked on. And again, I'll show you the website, and again, apologies, it is in Arabic, very sorry. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, no. There we go. So you can see here, right, the pictures, the catalogs, you know, we had like the keywords here to the right. Right. These are just some of the samples of the women pioneers I was telling you about, and we just made the layout of the page just accessible for researchers. You know, they can search by topics, by names, just, you know, just to kind of give you a broad sense of that. And again, this was a project that I was brought to work on, the Archive of Women's Voices, particularly the Women Pioneers Project, which started in the 90s, and again, was part of this endeavor to uncover like these lost narratives of the women pioneers in these different fields, because nobody really had gathered their stories before. And they were so instrumental in opening the doors for all the girls and young women who followed them, right? I mean, we take for granted that we can be employed now, but these were all the women who broke those barriers in so many different fields, business, art, acting, education, like so many different fields. So yeah, and after so this was the first oral history project, and following the Arab Spring, I'm sure a few of you are familiar, it was a series of uprisings across kind of the Arab region in 2011, Egypt, Tunisia, and a few other countries. We actually expanded into other projects. We started a new oral history project which looked at engagement of women and young girls following the revolution. And again, sorry, again, it's Arabic, apologies. Most of our stuff is in Arabic, but this is just kind of
stuff is in English, so
Yeah, but these again just are kind of some of the younger activists that we looked at. We interviewed young women and seasoned professionals as well, because the aftermath of the Arab Spring saw this rise in a lot of feminist collectives by really, really young women, you know, not just in Cairo, but like across so many different regions of Egypt. So again, we just wanted to collect their stories, There we go. Okay, so I just kind of brought in a few pictures from the oral history methodologies workshop, because we would do this kind of periodically to different groups. Like I said, again, our main audience was usually students and researchers. This is me here, you see on the left, and my good friend Diana to my right. Just, you know, just some of the audience doing some of the work during the workshop. This was actually an oral history workshop for German and Egyptian students. The German students were visiting us from the University of Marburg in Germany. So again, you can kind of see from the audience, like it's a mix of German, like, you know, again, young students and students from Egypt as well. Okay. So I also wanted to show you another aspect of the work. So the Archive of Women's Voices, it really expanded not just to narratives. My boss and mentor, my son Hassan, had this really, really brilliant idea that along with the women's stories, we can start by, you know, amassing a private collections. So we would take women's papers, pictures, letters, artwork, books, you know, just, you know, you name it. We were greedy. We were just like, just give us, just please give us, just give us everything. And actually, I think some of this is in English. So let's see. Oh, yes. See, English. Yeah. And again, here to the right, so you can browse. And again, kind of a mixture of English and Arabic there, but you see kind of to the left, like there are pictures of her, and there are other just kind of categories like the biography, you know, and she was again a really prominent feminist activist, another woman who had worked on combating female genital mutilation for a long time, and she lived like to be 98. And she was like participating in marches and fighting for women like until the very end. Like she would go to protest in wheelchairs. She was, you know, she was phenomenal, like Leda Dosai. And again, I was fortunate enough to meet her a few times. She was like wonderful, marvelous, and cheerful, like to the very end. So again, I was very, very lucky with that. Okay. There. So, and again, another also part of the archive, it was just kind of interesting to see the sequence of events. So we started with gathering the oral history, the stories, then the private collections. And we said, okay, so we have all these like materials. So why don't we start, you know, showing exhibits, right? You know, just kind of taking these works, all the, again, the paraphernalia that we had by these different women, and just be like, okay, you know, we'll show them to the world. So the private collections and these exhibits, you know, formed other elements of the archives, and these exhibits really allowed us to construct narratives of these women's lives, and again, just kind of formed another part of our outreach. The title, by the way, I just really wanted to share the story, Doing Well, Don't Worry, came from one of actually the women in the posters that I was showing you, because again, she was a political activist, a leftist political activist who was imprisoned so many times. And she smuggled out this note written on a napkin to a friend. And she started the note by saying, like, you know, doing well, don't worry. So that's kind of where we got the inspiration for the title of the exhibit. And the exhibit, it was women from Egypt, Lebanon, Denmark, Jordan, and it was women from so many different fields: seamstresses, students, accountants, filmmakers, teachers, maids, mothers, daughters, mentors, and just, women from so many different fields. That again, we use this exhibit because I think exhibits also like are narratives, right? They tell stories. So kind of use these exhibits to construct the stories of these women, as inspiration for us, from their work. Okay, so this, and another kind of aspect of my work, which, like I said, I've been very lucky, was all the conferences and sessions that I participated on through Women in Memory Forum, and just kind of through my academic involvement. I was lucky, like I participated in a workshop in France on documentation, one in Turkey on combating violence against women, and also the Commission on the Status of Women in the United Nations, UN Women, in 2016, in collaboration with other Egyptian feminist organizations, also talking about combating gender-based violence as well. This is a picture of me and my friends in Lebanon. I was one of the trainers on a workshop on feminist methodologies and documentations, and this was aimed towards queer activists in the region. I just didn't include their pictures, just, for reasons. Just didn't include their pictures there. This wasn't through the Women in Memory Forum. This was actually at the National Women's Studies Association 2018. I was presenting on missing and murdered Indigenous women. Because like I said, speaking on gender-based violence is really, really a main part of my research interests and activism. Okay. So this brings me kind of to just my final slide. And really, like with my own research interests, like they really reflected my activism, work on social justice. And I've always just tried to strive to research and produce knowledge on underrepresented groups, particularly like minority women writers. My master's and PhD, I'm working on Indigenous women writers, African-American women writers, Egyptian women writers as well. Working for my PhD again, specifically on trauma, just kind of different manifestations of it. And I just remain like committed to my social justice work. And this is really the work that I intend to carry with me forward on my career, as well as my commitment to empowering and educating young girls and women. And thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, and I will stop sharing.
Linda, you're muted.
Yeah. So Shirley in the chat said she'd like to see the whole 10-minute movie with the subtitles. So can you put the whole URL into the chat so she can see that?
Of course.
And anyone else that wants to see the whole thing later?
Yeah, and actually I will link to the Women in Memory forums, like I'll link to the English website as well, just in case anybody just wanted to browse. Yeah, I'll need to find it first now, but I do have it. It's, oh, there it is, perfect. Yeah. Because again, we hadn't translated everything, but we had like a lot of the pages in English as well, just for accessibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to also give a salute to some of the branch members who created this.
Oh, nice. Nice. Wow. Yeah.
I think probably, I know Balika was involved in Sarsaparilla to Spaceships, but so was Connie. I figured too. But anyway, this is the history of the local branch back to 1909.
Oh, wow.
So, they did this, I guess, on the 100th anniversary. Malika, what did you learn through doing this work?
Well, being a librarian, I loved research and I loved going down to the Arizona Historical Society and doing all of the research that we could amass for the group. and we discovered so many pieces of the puzzle that we don't really have any answers for, because the history, the archives of our group were not, kept as accurately some years and better other years. And so there are a lot of things that we, still would love to know. Well, I would still love to know about.
Yes, I'm sure it was a wonderful, revealing project.
It was. Connie did a lot of the research too. She composed a lot of the, we had different people that were working on the actual creating or composing of the chapters.
Yes.
So, yeah. I was the technology guru.
I know it was quite entertaining, Dahlia, to find out that originally this group started, their social activism was around getting rid of spittoons.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my God. That's like the best origin story, like, superheroes, like, no. This is like the origin story, like getting rid of spittoons. Yeah. This is like the origin story. Yeah.
I think you could consider that to be feminine activism.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about it, right?
Definitely. No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I had a question. I just wondered if you could give us a few words about living through Arab Spring.
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh God. Well, I participated to. It was. I mean, it was a lot. Like, we were really, really hopeful and optimistic. Like, during those 18 days before Hosni Mubarak was the former president, before he stepped down. And it was, it was difficult. We got attacked, shot at, tear gassed, things I do not recommend, by the way. They were not. It was wonderful to see, like, the entire country, and again, a lot of countries across the region, just saying, like, enough is enough. We've had it with, these dictators who had been in power so many years. But I think kind of the sad part for me, at least, was just kind of what came after. I think kind of that was just really like the unfortunate part. Just kind of, I'm not saying all our dreams and hopes were crushed. Well, they kind of were, though, I have to say. And I understand, I think, just kind of historically, like, with revolutions, like, there's usually a period of, like, instability that follows. Like, things aren't fixed magically overnight. But I just feel, like I said, just a bit crushed just remembering all the marches, like, because we did these marches from 2011 to 2014, and I can't really get into details because Zoom isn't very secure, but what happened after wasn't pleasant. Let's just say that. Just to say that. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing.
No. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Other questions for Dahlia?
I have what may be a bizarre question. In one of the photos that you showed of a group, you mentioned a variety of Arab countries that were participating and Denmark. And I thought that seemed really weird. So can you help? I mean, and I know that you did some work with some German students also. So apparently there's an active exchange mechanism in the educational system, but why Denmark in that one group?
Well, actually, one of our, because, as a nonprofit organization, we relied on donors, right, to kind of sustain us. So we had several donors from Denmark. So that was why one of the exhibits, like the Doing Well, Don't Worry exhibit, that was in collaboration with Denmark, because, and I don't really remember the acronym for this, I apologize, DEDI and Kivinfo. Again, I have no idea what the acronyms, but I mean, they're all like feminist organizations there. So that was just kind of a part of that collaboration. The students from Germany, I believe one of my professors, like, who does a lot of research in Germany, like, they come up with this idea of like this kind of like saying exchange. I mean, they were like in Egypt like for a few days, but that was just kind of because and again, one of honestly the parts that I always like really appreciated about the Women in Memory Forum was all the collaborative work that we did with feminist organizations from Europe, from the United States, and again from just across the Arab region. So we always did collaborative work where we could. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, thank you.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but there are several large women activist grant organizations in Europe. The one that I'm familiar with is Mama Cash. Some of the biggest in the world, actually, out of Europe, the Scandinavian countries particularly.
Yeah, we would like fundraise from them, just be like, please give us money. Like, please give us money. But no, Mama Cash is definitely one of the like bigger donors because a lot of the organizations in Europe were really interested in working with Arab feminist groups, and again here in the United States as well. But access to Europe was just a bit easier sometimes, just the proximity and kind of like the shared kind of back and forth history. But because we also like, again, one of our funders was organization called ICANN, and they're based in New York.
Yes, ICANN.
ICANN, and they're based in New York. And the Ford Foundation, for example, and Ford Foundation, I think Ford is American, if I'm correct, right? Yeah, Ford. So Ford was really one of our like consistent donors like throughout the years.
But overall, less than 1% of U.S. philanthropy goes outside the U.S. So
really?
the donations that are made, it's less than 1%. I know, I was part of
Wow.
a global organization trying to raise money. So
wow, no, I didn't know that. No, we because we also like would collaborate with, maybe not in terms of fundraising, but kind of groups that were like multinational, like Frida, like AAUW, right, who don't really belong to a particular country. They're just kind of across, like, well, maybe not the 7 continents, but like 6 of them at least.
So other question? Shirley has a question.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Dahlia, what brought you to Buffalo of all places?
Well, the undergraduate scholarship, we didn't really have a choice. We just applied, and they just kind of sent us to the schools that they chose. Like the Fulbright, like we got to choose for the Fulbright. But for that undergraduate scholarship, they were just like, you're going there. And I was like, okay, so sure. Why not? Why not?
Change in weather for you too.
Oh my God, it was like, oh my God. I mean, Egypt, I don't know if any of you have been, but its climate is really similar to Tucson. The short winter, the endless summer, the sunshine 600 days a year. And I got to Buffalo and I was like, no, I'm from the desert. This is like, no. No, I really know. I did enjoy my time there. Not the weather maybe, but it was a really nice school. Like I said, it was a Catholic college, so the student population was, compared to my university, Cairo University is massive. So compared to that, it was yeah, and like really small, really intimate. So I really liked it. Again, maybe not the climate, but the school. I'm not built for the cold.
It's really cold.
If you ever want to see snow coming this way, just go to Buffalo during February.
No, one of the reasons I think I really like Tucson is just the beautiful weather we have in Tucson.
Right.
It's just, it's wonderful here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
What are your future plans? You're going to get your PhD, and then what?
Well, I have like a job in Egypt as a faculty member. I think I'm gonna go there maybe for a year or 2 and see if I can maybe get a job here in the United States, either in academia or at a feminist organization. I have like these existential crises sometimes. I'm like, well, do I want to continue in academia? Yes or no? We'll see. Because I was lucky, like in the spring, like the past spring, that my like as a graduate associate, like I applied to work at the Consortium on Gender-Based Violence at the University of Arizona. And I just realized how much I really missed like feminist, because again, I had been like presenting at conferences on feminist work, and again, my research, but just being like as a job, I realized like I really, really missed that. So so I'll just see how that, and I mean, honestly, even if I do go into academia, I don't think like it would preclude me from maybe volunteering or doing, feminist work at like an organization. But I think I just want too much of everything. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of us when we were younger, doesn't it?
Yeah. But that's the plan. Like at least like Egypt, at least for a year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, well, next month, we believe that we're going to have a bunch of Tucson teachers who have signed up for our Tucson Teachers Trading Post, coming to talk about some of the work that's going on around Tucson with all of the COVID and everything that's happening. So a real live experience with some of the teachers that we've been supporting. Just to report, we have given out the $5,000 in $100 gift wish lists. And I've gotten lots of thank you notes from the teachers who, I mean, from simple things like hand sanitizer, right, to, special books for Spanish classes and crayon sharpeners.
Oh, wow.
And things like that, that what we know that the teachers would have to spend their own money. And so they, these were luxuries. These were luxuries for them. And I really thank everybody, that helped to create our treasury too. And, it's a wonderful thing to have to be able to do this. And it is appreciated. The largest purchase was a rug. And I said, a rug?
Yes, a rug. Yeah.
Yes.
We need, rugs. We had couches. We had, yeah.
The rug was so that she's kind of an emotional kind of psychologist or something, and it was so that she can sit down on the floor with the kids.
Yeah.
With the young kids and do some of the exercises and things that they have. So we should feel good in our hearts for what we did around the holidays for the teachers here in Tucson. So thank you all. And in March, we're going to hear from the Peace Corps. So that I think will be fascinating. I've had people up here as speakers in other organizations for me, and I found always, just like Dahlia, bringing in Egypt, they will bring in several other countries, and the Peace Corps experience, which I think most people who have been Peace Corps volunteers will tell you that it's the most transformative experience of their lives. So we hope that everybody will be able to join us there. Shirley.
Years ago, when we still had the International Interest Discussion Group, one of our members was a Peace Corps veteran from Botswana. She showed us pictures and talked about her life there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of our members, Susan Kwashu, is a Peace Corps returnee. And there's about 100 plus Peace Corps Peace Corps returnees in Tucson. So something that you otherwise is invisible to us. So I think that'll be fascinating. Alice.
Linda, when I was a social worker assistant for a home health agency, we actually had a lady on short term that had volunteered as a Peace Corps member when she was 75.
Wow.
And yeah, and she had upset the daughter because she had joined without telling family first, you know. But she was a real go-getter, and I loved that. 75 years old. Now that was some 20 plus years ago. So I don't know if they have an age restriction, but she was in great health at that time.
Yeah.
But, you know, 75. I
Yep.
admired that lady.
Yeah. Well, are you trying to get rid of me?
So,
I have a young woman working with me on another project who is supposed to go and was supposed to go in the Peace Corps, and they have been postponed until next September. And she doesn't know whether or not it'll happen then, of course. But all the Peace Corps people were called back immediately because of COVID, and you know, she's really in a quandary. I mean, what should she do at this point in time? You know, wait, get her. She's doing internships, and she's a wonderful volunteer for me. But you know, I just know how much she's in a what am I going to do with my life kind of quandary.
Mm-hmm.
So
and again, I mean, I just want to say, like, it's really nice meeting all of you. I really, really enjoyed this talk. Like, I was so nervous, but all of you are like, we're very like relaxing and welcoming. I feel like I've known you for years. It was just so easy to to talk. Thank you.
oh, you're very
Well,
welcome.
thank you.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
you're
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Lori Sheldon last year who said that what AAUW should be is a warm and welcoming place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That was kind of, but she said on the university, on the campus. So this is a little further out, but you know.
Well, and I
Yeah.
hope we can see each other in real life at some point. Hopefully.
Yes, that's a good idea. So thank you very much, Dahlia, for being our speaker. Yeah, I mean,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, we learned a lot, and you know, we got closer to a little more understanding about you know, it just, I think it just reminds us of women's history and how it does get buried, no matter what culture it is.
Right.
And how it's a sacred duty in some ways to preserve that history.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I definitely agree, because it's really an uphill battle a lot of times too. So, and I would like to see the manual that you showed us, like
The sarsaparilla.
Yeah, that's sadly.
Malika, is there one left?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We have about 10 left.
Why don't you mail one to Dahlia?
Yes, Dahlia, can you put your address into the chat?
Of course, thank you. Yeah, I would love to read that.
Well, it's a great example you can take home of the kind of history that U.S. women put together for organizations like this, right?
Yeah.
I think it'll be entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's nice to kind of have like that comparison of like, you know, that this is like Egyptian feminist history, and this, you know, like that really, I think that's really great work too, in terms of like feminist activism as well. Yeah.
Well, back to 1909. I mean,
yeah,
you know, that's a ways back really, when you start to think what's happened in 111 years is pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So did you get the address there, Balika?
Yep.
All right.
Well, thank you again. Real pleasure today. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget the Great Decisions kickoff on January 22nd. You can reserve at tgda.org.
Yep. And the topic is around diplomacy, right?
The topic is, yes, let me read it to you. Foreign policy challenges and opportunities.
And Dahlia, if you go to the AAUW website, Arizona website, or Tucson branch website, it's on the front page, all the information about the Great Decisions.
Okay, great, cool. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all later.
Thank you.